Now, foreign intervention in the Boko Haram crisis has already begun in Nigeria. Remember, the US, the UK, French experts as well as Israelis are here in the country and already working on strategies to find the missing Chibok girls and quell the Boko Haram insurgency. Dr. Femi Adegbolu believes that although foreign intervention is welcome, one needs to understand how much they will be involved in the fight against Boko Haram.
Well, it's a welcome development that the international community is now drawn into local politics here. But one still has some fear that to what extent and for how long will the international community, particularly the JTF, going to remain here with us? So what is going to be the level of their participation? So what exactly are they going to contribute? Will they put their boot on the ground for Nigeria, which I doubt very much that they're going to do? I think essentially what they're going to do is to provide intelligence and some equipment that will enable them, maybe in collaboration with Nigerian armed forces, to actually track down the insurgents and all that.
Can you draw similarities between what's going on in northeast Nigeria, what happened in Mali about 2 years ago, and what happened also in the Central African Republic? You have terrorist groups threatening regions in these three countries.
Yeah, of course. The fact is that they all work together, so there is really no boundary for the Boko Haram who are operating in Mali, Central African Republic, and Nigeria, because they are all fighting towards common cause.
Which means you're saying that they would need the same response. We would need the same response here in Nigeria.
Definitely. But we've been calling for this kind of drastic response all this while, just because our leaders do not have the requisite political will to deal with them. We have said it on so many fora that, look, these people have declared war on Nigeria. We should treat them as if we are fighting a war. But you see, our president had all the power in the world. You know, in fact, he's the commander-in-chief of the armed forces to deal with them, but he has not been able to do it. It's not as if we don't have the capability. Okay, I fail to believe that.
I was going to ask that, if you believe that Nigeria can actually win this war on insurgency.
Of course, if Nigerian leaders had taken our advice all this while, that this is the way to fight this war, this is the way to fight war without politicking, because of the politics there, okay, that has made the whole thing to fester now, that we are now inviting international community to come and help. Even the international community that is coming, I still have my doubt, because these people will only provide intelligence services, they will only provide funds and some other wherewithal. They may not go to the field and engage the Boko Haram, because American taxpayers, for instance, these countries, they are weary to actually engage in battles, you know, in any of these countries, particularly in Africa. They only provide funds and other logistic support. But putting their boot on ground, I doubt it very well. And that is where the problem comes in. For instance, if you provide all these things, who are you going to provide this thing to? Is it the people who have been incapable of fighting this war all this while? Either they deliberately are not able to do it, or because of politics that is not enabling them to do it. So the fact remains that hitherto, they have not been able to apprehend any Boko Haram warriors. The fact is that they have not been able to prevent our children from being carted away. I mean, so many bombing in Yaya twice, almost in 1 week. These are just posing so many questions we've not been able to answer. Some people in other climes, some people would have resigned on their own, but since we don't have that in our blood, some people should have been shown the way out. But government is not doing that. I mean, when you are given a task to perform a particular task, money is voted there, you are not able to carry it out, there is time for review. That individual should be able to account for his stewardship. And so I don't think anybody is asking anybody to account for his stewardship now. Otherwise, some people would have resigned or been sacked. Because the whole thing shows that he is portraying Nigeria in a very bad light, as if Nigeria Nigeria does not even have people who can man, you know, this situation, as if we don't even have army, we don't have navy, we don't have air force at all.
That's really important, because the way the international community views us, I mean, we have sent troops, peacekeeping troops to several other countries. We have succeeded domestically. Yes.
Now, if we are now inviting the world to come and help us fight domestic war, if we have an external attack, who do we now invite? And this is where my problem lies again. For instance, we have invited America and other parts of the world to come and help us here. Now, do you think, in your heart of hearts, that the people who have been incapable hitherto to do anything, we allow America to succeed? If America succeeds, for instance, what message does it pass on our own military here? So this is the problem.
Now, insurgency continues in other parts of West Africa. Remember, Mali has been trying to quell rebels in the north of the country, which are trying to secede before the intervention of the French military in the country. A violence sprung again on Saturday, in which soldiers were killed and around 30 civil servants abducted. Mali's Prime Minister says its country is at war with Tuareg separatists. This comes after the rebels attacked the northern town where he was visiting, killing soldiers and abducting around 30 civil servants. Some shooting had already broken out before Prime Minister Moussa Mara's arrival in Tidal early on Saturday, and he was forced to take shelter in an army base as rebel fighters attacked and seized the regional governor's office. Clashes continued throughout the day, with sporadic shooting eventually easing during the night. Mr. Mara was visiting Tidal for the first time since his appointment last month to revive long-delayed talks with northern armed groups. At least one soldier was killed and 23 others wounded in the clashes, which now threaten to frustrate efforts at finding a peaceful solution to a long cycle of rebellion in the country. He's blamed the French and UN forces for allowing the attack to take place. Mali was thrown into turmoil in 2012 when al-Qaeda-linked Islamists took advantage of a Tuareg-led rebellion and seized control of the north. Well, that's it on the program this week. Thanks for watching. Talk to us on our platforms on social media. We're on Facebook. We're also on Twitter. I am Amarachi Ubani. I'll see you next time.